Hey, what's going on, y'all? Hey, what's going on, y'all? Back with another one. Back with another one. I got another little history dump. You know what I mean? Just talking basically, the cultures that we see. Like I normally did. I think I did this like 2 years ago. Yes, I talked about the Indos Valley and things like that. But then the Elam period, right? We talked about that. I'm gonna see where this goes and all that stuff. Yeah, ancient civilization, of course, my usual. And I'm just skimming through because I used to do long lives and y'all can look at it for yourself. And then they talk about the genetics and just, you know, Anatolia and all that stuff. Let me see something real quick. Damn, why I keep pressing that? Yeah. Let's see where it goes. In those valley. It goes right there in those valley. Okay. You know, but it talks about, yeah. I want to talk about another culture. We're going into the same ones. And it talks about the Elam history, and it says modern Elam, modern Iran, or known as Elam. The mix of the two, and whatever. Let me switch something for a minute. All right, that's better. That's better. That's better. I had to switch my little screen and whatever. Let me see something real quick. I want to get this dusted. But the thing about talking about this history, it's very difficult. I'll show you the screens in a minute, but it's like you understand the complexities of talking about it. It's a hard history to cover, but I covered it in a stream like 2 years ago, and I felt like this is the perfect time to talk about it, right? But let's talk about where it all came from. Yes, it was known as the land of Elam and things like that, or land of culture, whatever, in scripture and code, but they had different other names. Just break down just a little history bit. All right, let's see what we're gonna get here for the buff. We're gonna go right here. We're gonna start talking. Yep, yep, yep. I'm gonna big up the screen for y'all. I'll be talking in the background, but it's pretty much the same. So as you can see, yeah, we're talking about first civilization. Shouts out to my boy for the realhistory.com. You know, he got these searches. He's talking about Egypt and they talking about the skins and all that. Ancient first civilization. Then you got Elam, modern Iran, and things like that. So that's a researcher, Elizabeth. Sculpture, self-taught without formal education, 1981. Yeah, but we ain't gonna get into that. We ain't gonna get. Oh shit! I hit the wrong thing. God damn it! Hit the wrong fucking thing. Ah, shit. Let's go. Okay. I fucked up on that. Sorry about that. Oh, man. Sometimes the scroller acts up. I'm trying to skim past through the nonsense. We already know that we ain't getting into the skin color thing. We know they tamper with stuff. That's comes weak argument. Let's talk about the modern people. It's related to what we see it above, but this is what the modern people look like. This is what they promote. This is the modern people. That's what you got over there. And your modern, the darker skinned people. Yeah, it's like class, similar to what you see in India, and all cultures have that. That's just part of the world. They're not our people, by the way, but we got some of our people that Semitic look like us. in the country. It's a handful, but it ain't that many. Modern Persians, aka Iranians, they would say, but they do have a military. They have a marine. I did not. Well, I knew they had it, but I didn't know it looked like this. I didn't know they had the Marine Corps, but it's Iran, so they do have a strong military army. So they one of them. It's certain countries like that. And the modern Arabs, that's Ishmael, by the way. We ain't gonna get into that. They into idolatry heavy, but we ain't gonna get into that. Where their culture is in Arabia. See, what you would place like Anatolia, Assyria, Elam, Persia, and Iran, they would say. Tehran and all that, Arcadia and Sumer, all them places like Babylon, Turkey, Syria, Damascus up in that area, Lebanon. Yeah. Known as Mount Petra, what they call Jordan now. That's Israel and Jerusalem. All this in this section right here. See, we're talking about stuff that really mattered in culture wise. They don't speak. So we're not gonna get into that. They won't know about the study, ancient study right here. Anatolia and Asia Minor, modern Turkey. We're talking about this. See, that's one reason my channel is interesting. I talk about a little bit of everything going deaf, but I use this website. Shouts out to this person. Let me use it for so many years. But salute to him for this. I mean, this stuff is timeless, man. It's timeless. It's timeless. So what you have here is a culture that's basically, you just have what you have. You know, we're gonna get in here, and that's the European research. Y'all seen the videos and stuff on YouTube and stuff like that. But it's like you have this thing right here, we talk about that. I mentioned that in one of my old pre-records y'all can watch or whatever, but this is not the time. So yeah, we're gonna scroll down to, people that look like whatever. And this is the culture bone structure that people look at right up in here. Grimaldi man and all that. That's what he's going by. He has some good points bringing out cultures. Culture and structures like it's known for cultures of Iran in the early Bronze Age. We're talking about the Bronze Age. However, it is clear that during the early periods, the rugged, broken landscape of Iran plateau forced men into a variety of relatively isolated cultures. These cultures did not participate in any developments that led to full urban civilization, they said fully urban civilization in Europe. I mean, in Egypt, excuse me, in Egypt and Mesopotamia, to their west, or the Indus Valley to their south. And here it goes right there. The Susa Bowl in 4000 BCE. This is 4000 BCE, long time ago, right? Alabaster head of the African god base found in Perlopolis or something like that. The pottery's 4200 BCE, pretty much. And then you got the model temple and called Saint Shamash and made for the ceremony of the rising sun in 12th century BCE. So that's the temple. They have, the culture and all that, and they have the ceremony. Two nude figures squatted in bronze slab on the knee, bent to the ground, but one of the, such and such. But we ain't gonna read the rest. But you get the point. You get the point. I'm not gonna read all that. Of course, you see pictures and stuff like that. You also see this stuff. This is the stuff that my man found and all this stuff. But look at this. That's what they was worship. The god figures and the cultures, the idols to themselves. They're not serving Yah like over here, but it's pretty much what you got. You know. And I talked about this before on live streams. What these are: the molded clay brick, the Elamite goddess. She's like a goddess. They have that right there. Yeah. And then you see these right here, these statues, the symbolisms and stuff. Yeah. That'll take us to Endos Valley, so we already know. Let's see what. Oh shit! I didn't mean to hit that. I didn't mean to hit that. We skipped ahead. Let's go with number two. The Assyrians. Let's talk about the Assyrians for a minute. The Assyrians, of course, y'all know the history. I talked about this too in a live stream. The Middle Elamite period, after 2 centuries of which sources reveal nothing, but the Middle Elamite period is northeast of the Kuchistan, the political expansion under the fourth king of this Kunam, Kunamanian, I'll say Kumba Numian, Yakuma Numian in 1285 BCE, but proceeding long and his success were commemorated by his assumption of the expander of the empire, right? And that's the pen. Excuse me. His pendant made of pale blue, is pale blue Caledonian carved with picture, but depicting the Elamite king Shinnyak, the Shinnyak, Ishenyak, presenting it to be the daughter of Bar Lily. Yeah, I talked about this in a live stream, but that's what you see right here. The pendant right here. You see the color blue and all this other stuff, right? The Elamite gold, the gold work, like a gold work, like a pig or whatever. You see that? That's what you see. Since we go on number three, the rest we'll do next week. We'll talk about the rest in a minute. Cause let me see some of it. And my chest was throbbing and hurting for a minute. We'll talk about 4 and 5 next Wednesday. I'm gonna do that. And we're gonna stick to number three. So as you can tell, as you can tell, that's what people look like. They had slaves, of course. The slave culture. I told you in their culture they had it. That was big back then, creating civilization, civilians, and things like that. Start of those periods. Assyria, 1274 BCE, and they conquered those people by campaigning extensively at the Dying River and all that other stuff. Yeah. Babylon, however, the second dynasty of Isin and revolt. People had revolt. Neo Elamite period. The Assyrian king Ashurbar in Nepal and all this stuff. That's the king and all that. That's what they look like. Those periods. Rough period. Place of Ashura, Anupal, like 660, 650 BCE. Scenes depicting the aftermath of the Battle of Tuba in Elam. So, incomplete limestone, Elamites are shown in upper register. Prisoner uh, flayed, flayed alive and shown in the second register. They show that period of those people. It was fighting. The aftermath of the victory over the Elamites, the banks of the river utility, yeah. So then it showed right there, and then them getting destroyed, of course. See the crow eating their remains. Yeah, it's bloody. And then you also have them being captured, slaves, and all that. Defeated Elamites, their new king chosen for them by the Assyrian king. And yeah, they said prisoner would not send to slavery. Victor go to spoils, right? That's what you see. and they had to work on the Assyrians. They throw them in the water. Fishes eat them. Elamite city of Massagador, Elamites celebrated with the music of harps while the debris from the battle, T tuba, floats past closed up musicians. Yeah, and that's what you see right here. Yas people in captivity. They say Hebrews in captivity. Talking about Yisrael. Yeah, in captivity under them. Yeah, Assyrians were rough. Those are rough people. They don't exist anymore. What you call modern day Syria now. That's not the same people. They was breeded out by Esau now. They was getting tortured and things like that. So that's the depiction where my man will say they had hair like that. But we ain't gonna get into that. But we understand that's the culture that came in the Medes, modern Iran, and things like that. So that's what I showed y'all on a live stream. So then again, that's the culture. The winged Sphinx, Darius, placed in Susa 510 BCE, Great Sphinx 530 BCE. So it's pretty much wild. The Eurasians. The Eurasians, at the same time, beginning of the 9th century BCE, two groups, nomadic white warriors, they would say, right? So it's pretty, that's the culture. So we're gonna go to the third. Let's stick with Elam, and we're going to end it right here. So Cyrus, the Persians, yes, the media, and eventually open against, yeah, I skipped through that. But we also talk about, the headed in the Cyrus the Great. This is Cyrus the Great, the idol they worship back then. You see that. You see those cultures in align with. So, and today many black men still favor the short hair and the beard of Cyrus. Yeah, it's idol worship, but some people, this Cyrus the brother, he gave him this look. Most people have that look. I mean, it was a popular look back in the day, right? That's what you have. That's what you have. But most of the time, you look at it for what it is, and you be like, all right, that's the culture that you're gonna see. Darius and human bust and fake hero and all that. Liberation of the Hebrews, they say, Yah's people. But this is what certain people have the hairstyles. They're going by hairstyles. What you see these people here, Korean hairstyle. Some people say that all them hairstyles was natural. Yeah, all those people had hairstyles similar to that. The ancients, yeah. But it's a little different, depends on what you're looking at. But if we saw the structures and DNA and some visual, we'll see what they really look like. If technology gets good in the near future, yeah, you'll see what the cultures were. Yeah, mosaic and all that. Macedonia from Darius, Great Spestrin tomb. So we got all this, and I'm just skimming down. And this is the culture of Darius. Darius was popular around this era. Yeah, King Darius. We ain't got to Xerxes yet, but Darius had a beard. People tripping about Xerxes. Xerxes looked weird like that. That was the son. All them worship. They said Xerxes had a beard. No, he didn't. That they talking about Darius. His father Darius had the beard. Darius was popular, but they didn't want him to play Darius. But the guy that played Xerxes did very well. But he was from those South American countries, did him well. But Xerxes did have those rings and removed. But that's a whole nother story. That's culturally. He got Samuel Jackson up here with the beard. I don't know about a good depiction. You know, The Oxus treasure consists of about 170 objects dating mainly from the 5th and 4th century BCE, but the treasure seems to have been gathered together over the long period and perhaps in a temple, and includes the vessels of gold, scarbarred model chair. but a figure in the armlets and seals and rings. Miscellaneous and personal objects dedicating to the plagues and, of course, in the banks, such and such, right? That's the treasure, Greek Thessalonian. And then, you got your item, Cyrus that come in on the left right here, the gold one on the left, right? On the right, you have Persian man, all this other stuff. So, well, the other one on the left, excuse me, but it's on my right, right hand side. But most people call that on the left, but I would say on the right is the man, and the gold one, of course, is the Oxus treasure, the Achaemenid and Persian and Greek Achaemenid periods. So it's pretty much it. This is the third piece of the history and things like that, and that's the culture. The Hoplite. I talked about the Hoplites too. I did a pre-record on the Hoplites. The Hoplites are the original, what you'll say, Greeks, the darker skinned people. That's what they look like. Hoplites are descendants of Japhet, they would say in the Bible. I call them Yaphet. You can see that. You can see that in my pre-records, my old ones. Hoplites are very, very, very well known. My man brought them out when I first talked about it on this website. So shouts out to the brother right here. And we're gonna end it with the gold symbol. So yeah, that's that, it is what it is. It is what it is. So mainly we just like, I'm just gonna take it off the screen that big. But yeah, what you see right there is pretty much, we'll do a part 3. I mean, not part 3, but excuse me, a part 2 to this. This is part 1. So we're talking about Elam's history. The first 3 parts I showed you is the what's the first part I showed y'all? I showed y'all part 1. So part 1 is modern Iran, right? We talked about mainly the cultures, then you talk about Egypt and next door neighbors, and showed you Anatolia, and then we scrolled down. We got the statues and the pottery and things like that. That's number 1. I showed y'all that in the basic, right? Okay. So number 2, we talked about the Assyrian period. Number 2 in Elam is the Assyrian period. They talk about the Assyrian period. Assyria, the Assyrian period. Show you the gold hog and the battle, the slavery and all that. That was it. And number 3, what we got now, we're talking about the Persians and the Medes period, right? We're gonna get into that, but this is the third part. So yeah, man, this is something that I have in the arsenal, and I'm just gonna take it down for a minute and just end it right there. So yeah, this is part 1 of Elam. Another series is being my Dark History series. So make sure you watch this in due time and learn something. But that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Like I do these like every Wednesday, and then you're gonna get this account all the time. So mainly you're gonna see more and more time in periods, right? So I get the fact that people are gonna do what they're gonna do, right? But you gotta understand this is part 1 of Elam. I just showed you the first 3, and it's really intriguing. And I did a live streams on this. I did a bunch of live streams on it, and you can check on Dark History streams. And then I did some pre-recorded on it too, on my old stuff. So I'm going back to certain content what this channel is known for, and just keep you interested in whatever. But what I think about these is just the research gets better and better. He researched all the time. He travels all the time, but he does this more. And wherever I see what's on his website, shouts out to him again. I'm giving him credence because he don't get that respect, but I always spread his work. His work is so great, and it's so intrigued to see people talking this from that perspective. You know what I mean? But that's the website I showed y'all, and y'all can see more and more. But that's a little history of it. Just a little something. But part 4 of Elam and part 5 of Elam, because there's 5 parts of Elam, right? But it's gonna be on the next part. This is part one of the first three, and the other two, 4 and 5. Those parts we're gonna get into on part two. So it's pretty much just another one. But yes, yes. Until next time on part two of Elam. So with that, signing off. Shalom to everybody in the name of Yah and His word and teaching. And I'm out.